As I sit here today, thinking back over the years and the friends I've walked alongside, I realize how often we miss the quiet signals our bodies send us. After 65, life teaches us that small signs are never really small. They are often life's way of whispering urgent truths we cannot afford to ignore. Aging gracefully isn't just about living longer, it's about living wisely, tuning into daily wisdom, and knowing when to act without delay. That's why today's video, Doctors Warn 5 Deadly Symptoms You Should Never Ignore After 65, is so important for anyone who values healthy aging and wants to stay in control of their life story. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through the warning signs that doctors, after decades of elder insights and senior health tips, urge every older adult to recognize. This isn't about fear. It's about staying sharp, protecting the years you've worked so hard to earn, and passing on a life of wisdom to those who come after us. If you're here because you believe in living with purpose after 70, you're in the right place. I invite you to subscribe, tap the bell, and share your own experience in the comments below. Just type "I'm ready" if you're committed to guarding your health with strength and clarity. Now let's move forward together. There's a quiet truth that we often learn too late. Not all pain speaks loudly, but some of it carries messages we must not ignore. After 65, when the body grows more vulnerable, a strange heaviness or pressure in the chest is not something to explain away or wait out. It's easy to think it might just be a bit of heartburn from last night's dinner or some tension after a stressful day. But when it feels like an invisible weight pressing down on your chest, your body is warning you in the strongest language. It knows. I remember an old friend of mine, someone who had spent his retirement years gardening and living with such quiet joy, telling me once over coffee that he sometimes felt a tightness in his chest after working in the yard. He thought it was simply age catching up with him. But a few weeks later, that harmless-seeming pressure led him straight to an emergency room, and he narrowly survived a major heart attack. This experience, which stayed with me for years, taught me something vital. When it comes to chest discomfort after 65, you have to listen the first time. The truth is, seniors are often taught to be tough, to push through aches and pains without making a fuss. Yet, when it comes to the heart, hesitation can be a heavy price to pay. Crushing chest pain, even if mild, especially when it spreads to the arm, jaw, back, or feels like a deep pressure you cannot shake, is your body waving a red flag. Sometimes it may be accompanied by nausea, dizziness, cold sweat, or an overwhelming sense of fatigue, signs that many brush off as minor, but that in reality could mean a heart attack is unfolding silently. And the scariest part is that in older adults, heart attacks don't always look like they do in movies. They aren't always dramatic collapses. Sometimes they are just a quiet exhaustion, a vague discomfort, a lingering heaviness that whispers rather than shouts. In other cases, that sharp pain could point to an aortic dissection, a dangerous tearing of the body's largest artery. This rare but deadly condition often strikes without warning and moves quickly, making it critical to seek immediate help rather than hoping it passes. The body's signals in these moments are urgent calls, not casual suggestions, and respecting them can make all the difference between a story that ends too soon and one that carries on with wisdom and strength. I know it can be hard to tell yourself that what you're feeling is serious, especially when you've lived a lifetime learning to be strong and not overreact. Yet part of aging gracefully is recognizing that strength isn't stubbornness. It's knowing when to ask for help, when to honor the voice within you that says, something isn't right. Protecting your heart isn't just about living longer. It's about living fully, being able to enjoy those walks through the neighborhood, those afternoons with grandchildren, and those quiet mornings sipping coffee on your porch. If you ever experience heavy chest pressure, whether it feels mild or overwhelming, whether it stays in your chest or moves down your arm, don't try to sleep it off or dismiss it as stress. Trust the wisdom your years have taught you. Your body is your oldest, most loyal companion, and when it cries out, it deserves your full attention. Sometimes it's not the sharp pains that steal our attention, but the quiet struggles that sneak in, almost unnoticed, until they suddenly overwhelm us. After facing the warnings that chest pressure can bring, we now turn to another signal that too often gets brushed aside. The simple act of breathing becoming unexpectedly hard. Breathing is something most of us have taken for granted our whole lives, yet after 65, when the body's systems begin to show their wear, feeling short of breath without much effort can be a sign that something far deeper needs our immediate attention. I remember once visiting a family friend who had just returned from a long trip to visit his grandkids. He hadn't run, hadn't lifted heavy bags, hadn't even climbed any stairs. He simply stood up from his chair after a lively conversation, smiled, and suddenly reached for the armrest again, struggling to catch his breath. He laughed it off at first, blaming it on getting older, but within days, doctors found a clot in his lungs, a pulmonary embolism, quiet but deadly, forming. After hours of sitting still during travel, stories like his remind us that sudden breathlessness, even when it feels mild at first, must never be seen as just part of aging gracefully. There are many reasons why breathing can become difficult, but very few of them are harmless when they strike out of nowhere. Sometimes the heart is the culprit, working harder and harder to pump blood as fluid builds up around it, causing what doctors call congestive heart failure. Other times, a clot moves silently through the body until it reaches the lungs, blocking the very air we rely on to live. In some cases, what feels like a little tightness can quickly turn into a desperate struggle to inhale, leaving us frightened and gasping without warning. And then there are silent heart attacks, especially common in seniors, where no chest pain occurs at all, only a mysterious shortness of breath, a sense that the air simply isn't reaching deeply enough, no matter how hard you try. When we talk about senior wellness and protecting our independence as we age, recognizing these subtle shifts becomes critical. A breath that used to feel easy but now feels labored after simple activities, standing up, bending down, walking across the room, is your body's way of signaling that it needs help. It's not about being weak, it's about being wise. Aging with dignity means understanding when to lean on medical wisdom, when to let our daily wisdom guide us to take action instead of waiting. If you ever find yourself pausing to catch your breath after movements that once seemed effortless, listen closely to what your body is trying to tell you. It's not complaining. It's reaching out, asking you to notice, to care, to intervene before something bigger steals the chance away. We deserve to protect the life and the strength we have built with so much courage. And as we move forward, remembering that every easy breath is a gift, let's stay vigilant to guard that gift with all the elder wisdom life has blessed us with. Life has a way of sending its warnings through unexpected places, and while we often think of the heart or the lungs when we speak of danger, sometimes the trouble begins much deeper, quietly hidden within. After understanding the importance of listening to our breath, we now move gently into another silent but urgent messenger: abdominal pain that refuses to go away. It might start as a simple discomfort after a meal, something so common we are tempted to dismiss it without a second thought. Yet as we age and our bodies change, we must pay closer attention to these signals, because not all stomach aches are as harmless as they seem. I remember a neighbor of mine, a strong and spirited man who prided himself on never complaining. One afternoon after a family barbecue, he mentioned feeling a strange, heavy pain low in his belly, but he simply chalked it up to a little too much potato salad. Days passed and the pain didn't ease. In fact, it grew sharper and more persistent until he finally, reluctantly sought help. It turned out that he had a ruptured abdominal aneurysm, something that could have cost him his life if he had waited even a few more hours. That experience taught me and everyone around him that protecting ourselves in later life means recognizing when waiting it out is the most dangerous choice we can make. Pain deep within the abdomen, especially when it feels heavy, sharp, or pulsating, can signal serious conditions that often need urgent care. Aneurysms, twisted intestines, bowel blockages, and pancreatitis all hide behind these seemingly simple symptoms. They don't always announce themselves with fierce alarms. Sometimes they settle into a dull, stubborn ache that slowly tightens its grip. In seniors especially, who may also deal with slower digestion or chronic discomfort, it becomes even easier to dismiss persistent belly pain as something I ate, or just getting older. But healthy aging demands that we listen differently, now with wisdom gained from a lifetime of lessons and with a heart ready to act when something feels wrong. What makes this symptom particularly important is how quickly a minor-seeming issue can escalate into a life-threatening emergency. A blocked intestine can cut off the blood supply, causing tissues to die within hours. A ruptured aneurysm can flood the body with internal bleeding, stealing precious minutes we cannot afford to lose. Even pancreatitis, often triggered by diet, or gallstones, can rapidly turn into a severe condition affecting multiple organs if not treated promptly. Recognizing when your body's normal discomfort crosses the line into something persistent and more intense can mean the difference between early intervention and a medical crisis. If you ever notice a heavy, sharp, or throbbing pain that lingers beyond a few hours, especially if it worsens or if you feel swelling, fever, or nausea along with it, trust your instincts. This isn't about being overly cautious. It's about respecting the long journey you've walked and protecting the precious years still ahead. The wisdom of aging gracefully lies not only in enjoying the sunshine, but also in knowing when the clouds need a closer look. Every signal matters, and every moment you choose to act with care strengthens the life you still have to live. As we move forward together, there's another silent warning we must bring into the light, one that often hides behind familiar faces and familiar routines, until one day something feels different. After reflecting on the body's hidden pains, now we turn gently to the mind, where changes can be even harder to notice but every bit as urgent. Sudden confusion, unexpected memory loss, or shifts in personality are not just ordinary signs of getting older. They can be the voice of something serious stirring within, and they deserve our full attention. I still remember sitting across the table from an old friend during a Sunday lunch. He was always the sharpest one in the room, the one who could recall names, places, even jokes from decades ago. That day, though, he struggled to remember the name of his oldest grandson. At first, he laughed it off, and so did we. But when the conversation continued, it became clear that something was wrong. He seemed lost in a place he had always known so well. It was heartbreaking, but it was also a turning point. His doctors later discovered he had experienced a minor stroke, quiet, painless, but powerful enough to dim the light behind his eyes. Confusion that comes on suddenly, struggles to recognize people or places, unexpected agitation, or sudden withdrawal. These are not just senior moments or bad days. They are cries for help from a brain that might be under siege from a stroke, a severe infection, or even rapid onset delirium. And the danger is that these symptoms can appear gently at first, like a small crack in a dam, but grow rapidly if left unchecked. Seniors are often at risk because infections, dehydration, or even small strokes can move faster in older bodies, overwhelming systems that once bounced back easily. Understanding this difference is part of what it means to practice healthy aging and daily wisdom. We cannot afford to dismiss changes in thinking or behavior just because we fear bad news. Knowledge is not the enemy, it's our strongest ally. Aging gracefully does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means meeting each new challenge with the courage to act, the strength to protect the clarity of mind that holds so many precious memories and connections. If you or someone you love suddenly shows signs of confusion, trouble speaking, difficulty recognizing familiar surroundings, or unusual behavior, even if it fades after a short rest, it is critical to seek help immediately. Every hour matters when it comes to protecting brain health. The sooner a stroke or infection is identified, the better the chance for recovery. Trust the instincts you've built over a lifetime. The sense that something feels off is not just your imagination, it's often your greatest early warning system. Guard your mind with the same fierce care you would guard your family, because in many ways it holds the most sacred stories of all. And now, as we move deeper into understanding the quiet signs our bodies may send, we come to a symptom that is easy to overlook, but speaks volumes if we are willing to listen. A level of exhaustion that no amount of sleep or rest seems to heal. After spending a lifetime working hard, raising families and building memories, feeling tired can seem like an expected part of the journey. Yet there is a kind of fatigue that goes beyond normal aging, a deep, relentless weariness that clings to the body and soul like a heavy fog, and it is this kind of exhaustion we must never ignore. I think back to a dear neighbor, a woman full of laughter and energy, who over just a few short weeks began withdrawing from her morning walks, her garden, and even from her beloved book club. She said she was just tired, that she probably needed a few quiet days, but even after rest, the heaviness didn't lift. Eventually, after some convincing, she visited her doctor, and they discovered early signs of heart failure that, caught in time, could be managed. What stayed with me was how quietly it had crept into her life, and how easily it could have been brushed aside as just another part of growing older. True healthy aging means knowing the difference between feeling a little worn out after a busy day and facing a kind of fatigue that makes simple tasks like dressing, cooking, or even chatting feel like climbing a mountain. When the energy that once carried you through daily life suddenly drains away without a clear reason, your body is not simply getting older, it is trying to conserve its last reserves, signaling that something deeper, perhaps in the heart, kidneys, or immune system, needs help. This kind of fatigue isn't fixed by a nap, a stronger cup of coffee, or a better night's sleep. It settles into your bones, making even the activities that once brought joy feel burdensome. And because it often comes without dramatic pain or outward signs, it is one of the easiest dangers for seniors to overlook, telling themselves, "I'm just not as young as I used to be." But daily wisdom, the kind that healthy aging teaches us, reminds us that listening to subtle changes is one of the greatest strengths we have. If you notice that your strength is fading faster than usual, that simple walks leave you breathless, or that conversations tire you out more than they used to, do not dismiss it as an inevitable part of getting older. These are your body's early warnings, offering you a chance to intervene before deeper damage takes hold. Protecting your energy is about more than just feeling good. It is about preserving the freedom to live, to move, to embrace each new day with the same spirit that has carried you this far. Trust in the wisdom life has given you. Trust that taking action today ensures you have more beautiful tomorrows to enjoy. As we come to the end of today's journey together, I hope you feel more prepared to listen closely to the quiet messages your body may send. After 65, protecting your health is no longer about fear. It's about honoring the life you've built, embracing daily wisdom, and choosing to act with care and courage. Recognizing deadly symptoms early, whether it's chest pressure, sudden breathlessness, sharp abdominal pain, confusion, or extreme fatigue, gives you the power to stay strong, independent, and thriving in the years ahead. Healthy aging isn't about ignoring change. It's about meeting it with open eyes and a steady heart. Your story deserves many more chapters, filled with strength, clarity, and joy. If today's message resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below. Your words might offer encouragement and elder insights to someone who needs it most. Until we meet again, stay wise, stay aware, and stay wonderfully alive.